Today we're going to talk about criteria on what makes a good album a good album. So we're in it for a treat today. We have all these albums and more to show you. And we wanted to talk about 5 criteria. So number 1, we're going to talk about the finishing and the packaging of the album and the actual package itself. And second, we're going to talk about the paper in quality and in its types of paper that we might get to choose. Number 3, we're going to talk about the printing quality and what makes good printing. And finally, number 4, we're going to chat a little bit about some of the things we have to deal with when we work with the printer and the design as well. So without further ado, let's get started with number 1, finishing and packaging. This is, first of all, the package that it comes with before we even open the album. So it's nice and fancy. Sometimes it might ship and comes with just the album itself. So you might just get it straight out of the wrapper. You are able to buy some kind of protector case for it as well. So if you wanted to do that, it's a slip case made of kind of like synthetic leather kind of thing. And you can, this helps protect your album from squishing or denting. Or also we have other presentation boxes in various materials. For example, this is another one where it's made out of kind of like different materials. Second thing is the actual album itself. There's bindings and different covers, back covers that you can choose from, such as this. There's like crystal glands, there's glass, there's acrylic, so all kinds of things that you might be able to grab yourself on top of the regular covers that you might see. And some are soft, some are hard, so that's something you want to think about. There are also different kinds of technology, such as this one is just printed on, or you might get the laser engraving. There's something like the raised foil, the gold lettering, right? So that's something you can also look into. Moving on to paper. So we're gonna use this as an example here. We wanted good quality paper, obviously, because we want this album to last. Different companies comes with different various thickness of books. So we'll show you one of our premium albums here, and also one of our more standard pages. So the cover, again, we've talked about different thickness, and the paper comes in different thickness as well. And you can just tell here by how much thicker this is and more durable. One of the things is if the paper was not good enough in quality, the binding here, the paper will start to waver and kind of wrinkle up on its own without warning. So that's not something you want. Also, paper comes in different types. We have here kind of a Tintoretto type paper, where it works usually with a lower saturation color type of photos. And it also gives out that 3D texture. So it makes things look like it comes alive, which kind of gives depth to the photo. And you can also do different kinds of paper, such as a metallic one. This album is specially made to show you kind of different kinds of paper. What we have here, like a metallic paper, and it's kind of more on the glossy side. And it works really well with something that has a lot of white or blacks, like solid colors in it, and it's more simple, so it kind of gives that shine, but it also does give out the glare sometimes. So there's kind of like in the middle, there's a photographic paper, or different kinds, right? Some paper are also textured as well on the outside of the frame, so that's something you can put into your design. And again, there's different sheen and glossiness, and different various degree of matte onto these albums. On the same topic, the bindings and the papers, we have albums that also comes in lay flat. As you can see, this is called a lay flat. This, for example, is not lay flat, right? And so if you have a big photo inside, it may not be able to kind of print over each other, and you'll get little ridges. So that's something you want to think about. Also, some companies, they have a maximum amount of lay flat that they're allowed to do. So for example, if I wanted to do like that many pages for my album, I will not be able to add the lay flat on that. So that's something you want to take note as well. Okay, moving on to number 3, printing quality. So there are different kinds, indigo, offset, or digital laser from various brands like Fuji or Canon printers, right? Epson or whatever. But that's not really for us to think about. That's more for the printer. But you want to have printing that is true to the color that you sent out. So in a way, your printer is responsible for giving you a true color, and you are also responsible when designing the album to give out that consistent look. So for example, if one of these pictures were a tad darker than the others, then overall it does not look like a good album, right? So before you send it out to the printer, it's really important to put that in as well into consideration, is that you have designed albums that have pictures with consistent color themes or color palette and of brightness as well. So that's something we also do when we design the album, and that things will look consistent and engaging. On the same topic with designing an album, we want to have the end in mind. So are you doing it as a signing book? Do you want your signatures in there, right? Do you want people's signatures and messages in there? Is this for a collage, just to look at your album for your wedding day? Or is there some kind of information that you put in, right? So that's something you want to look into as well. If you don't really know much about, safe margin, bleed size, trim size, and margins and so on, then it's good to be familiarized with those key terms before you design the album, or that it would be nice for the album designer to have those options. So when you print it, it comes out the way you would like it to be. So that's very important. When we design our albums, we do different things. Sometimes it's a little bit more trendy, so we try to fit pictures inside a picture, or you can do a more classic like collage type of work, but that is more timeless. Sometimes more like a gallery, which is like the full page, but that means you won't be able to keep as many pictures in there. So, but there's no problem with that, right? And finally, we're going to talk about the last one, number 4, the ease of use when designing the album, or the customer support. So we have an album here as an example where from start to end, we had to go through a lot of conversation with our album maker and before we design this album, and in sizes. And we also are able to order a lot of parent books, which is basically duplicate copies of the same book, of various budgets and prices and so on. So you are able to produce these. So for example, if it was a wedding and you wanted to make an album for your guest, an album for your bridesmaids, for your parents, and for yourself, then you can try different various ways of doing it. And the printing quality, obviously they do differ because of the way they use papers. So like this one, there's a tiny one here. So that's, the paper is a little different from the ones that's here. But if it's a certain size, they do stick with the same paper. And but overall, the quality is still really good from our printer. So these are some of the things you can think about when ordering an album. We hope you enjoyed everything that was presented today. And don't forget to subscribe, like, or comment, ask questions. And we hope to bring you more stuff in the future. Bye!